Good morning, everyone. That song background music was called Feeding the Ducks. I don't know why, but I thought it was groovy. So, good morning. It's Monday morning and it's coffee with Amanda, coffee with candidate. I finished my coffee because I had another meeting at 8 a.m. So, I'm jumping around, multitasking this morning. But how's everyone doing? Happy Valentine's. Happy Love Day, everyone. I see that Garrett is here. Hi, Garrett. Happy Monday. Happy Valentine's. Thanks for joining. Um, Today we are, just to jump right into it, just to let you know, today we're going to talk about affordability of living in Nanton, housing, social services, and business resources. So that's a huge topic, and I think it'd be interesting to really find out what sort of place on those priorities everyone's at. When we filled out the town survey that was due January 30th, one of the question was, where do you feel Nanton lies on the scale when compared to other communities in regards to affordable housing? So that was something that I know has come up in the prior election about having more affordable housing, maybe low cost, but also accessible housing. You know, maybe there's a lot of older homes in Nanton. You know, is there availability of having housing for older people with less accessibility, or, you know, just less able people to find housing here? How easy is it? How affordable is it? And how do you feel about your housing situation in Nanton? Anyone who knows us knows that we have a smaller home on a fairly big lot, which we love, and it's one level, but that was something that we chose. We wanted to have something that would be good for retirement in the next 25 years, and but it's exactly what we wanted, and we were really lucky. But you know, I know that the housing market has been booming in the last 2 years, which includes Nanton. Lots of people moving into Nanton from neighboring communities, maybe getting away from the big city. And are they finding what they needed? Is there more opportunities that could be looked for? And when I had this topic, actually I brought up at my last coffee chat that we're going to be talking about this, I got, the Facebook, who might have been listening to me, sent me some information on the Sustainable Housing Initiative, which is a nonprofit group, and they do some project analyzing. They go into a community. They specifically look at rural development networks. They'll create models for affordable housing developments in rural communities, and they can provide municipalities with a guide on the most maybe cost-effective planning approach in terms of maybe more affordable housing. So, you know, the issue that comes around with not providing affordable housing is definitely like maybe you're going to have some homelessness. I know we do have the Ranchland Inn, that we have quite a few maybe long-term residents that are staying there for more affordable housing. And so I think it's an important thing to look at because, let's be honest, Nanton has very few accommodations for tourists. And when you're populating those facilities or those accommodations with long-term rentals who are residents, you're further creating a problem with people not being able to use Nanton as a weekend stopover instead of just a day trip. So, but these are all long-term things. This isn't something that we can really fix in a short-term amount of time. So it's important if you're doing planning, and I know that Westview is a current development that's also still being sort of figured out, and some things that are happening with it. And so, I don't pretend to know anything about it. I don't really know where it's come from. I don't know where we're at, and what other sort of programs are in place, but that's something that I'm willing to kind of learn about and figure out, where in the dynamics do we need to have maybe some affordable places. And I know that we do have some apartments and some condos, and there is some variety in Nanton. It's not just large lots and big homes. It's definitely a little bit of everything. And are we just sort of missing out? Is there, a long wait list to get into some of the maybe senior housing or things like that? So those are questions I have. I don't have any answers to them, but I just wanted to come on and kind of talk about it and see if that's something that is on the forefront of people's minds, or are they sort of thinking it as we don't need to worry about it. We don't need to really consider that as being an issue that needs to be addressed right away. Is that something we want to look at further down the road? Is that something, obviously with more housing comes strain on infrastructure. So if you're going to add 50 people with some sort of, condo unit or whatnot, that's a strain on our water infrastructure, wastewater. It's a strain on services. We're adding 50 more garbage cans to pick up, things like that. And does the amount of tax dollars that we get from that offset those costs? So it's not just about, let's add some more land. Nanton has tons of land. It's about what are the things that trickle out from that we need to consider, and how can we handle those things? So if you're on here, say hello, give me a shout. Talk to me, ask or let me know, how do you feel Nanton lies on the scale compared to other communities in terms of affordable housing? I know the market right now is crazy, and so there's been more opportunity for house prices to go up, so maybe it's less affordable for people. And then what do we do? What do we have? Do we have enough people here? What's the dynamics? What's the range of people, the demographics? Is it only older people who are coming in to live in some of the lodges? Is it young families? Are they able to afford homes? Things like that I think it's important to know about. And I think it's important for what people are looking for when they're considering Nanton as being a home. I know for the schools, there's been an increase in registration over the last couple years, which is great news, because what we don't want to do is lose our schools. And looking at our neighboring communities, when you look at Stavely or Cayley, High River is obviously a lot bigger than we are. Claire's home is a little bit more comparable, and so we obviously, when we were looking to move from Calgary, we looked at different communities. We looked in Claire's home, we looked in Stavely, we went as far as Granham, but that was too far from where we wanted to be. And Nanton is really a perfect location in terms of being from Calgary and also having, enough around us that we're never really it's never really a big problem. Like if it's not here, which many things are, I'm finding out more and more, there's more and more things that are right here in our neighborhood to get. But if it's not, River's not far, and they're a little bit bigger of a community. A lot of their businesses, treat Nanton kind of as their backyard neighborhood, and provide services as well. So just looking to see what people's thoughts are on the affordability of living in Nanton, and how do you feel about your housing situation in Nanton right now? So it's pretty quiet. Everyone's in bed this morning. Not too many people online. That's okay. I can probably chat for a little while. If you're not able to see this on Facebook, and I don't know how you would get this message because it's on Facebook, it's also in my YouTube channel, Amanda Bustard. Or if you go to the website, voteamanda.ca, you'll find links on there as well. You go to Coffee Stream and the video will be live. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see any comments on there, but definitely I'll be able to get an idea. If you want to send me a message, send me a text. I'll even put my phone number up here. You can send me a text and I can address your question as we're chatting, or my email, gmail.com. Okay. I'll put that up. I can't just type it. Okay, so we're here to talk about housing. And along with that, actually, I had social services and business resources. So let's just move forward a little bit in terms of social services. So I talked last week about, the strategy session that's going to be coming up in March for Town Council. They've had their strategy session previously. I believe it was from 2019 to 2001. So, which is a great pocket of time to sort of focus on what's our 2-year strategy. 2-year, 5-year, 10-year is a great thing to look at. And I know that there is work and a committee being done on the medical center. And so there's some opportunity that's happening where they're going to increase. Oh, Dave says there's comments. I haven't seen any. Okay, let me check a look at that. Sorry, everyone. That's where we got my backup guy who's helping me out. I'm not seeing comments. I'm going to keep looking. Sorry, while I technically troubleshoot here. What page am I on? Go to the Facebook pages. I'm on Everything Nanton, my personal page, my Vote Amanda page. So I'm just going to toggle between the two and see what I'm finding. Here's some comments. Ronette says, hi, Amanda. Dave says, hi, I'm here. Shout out to you, love. Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks, Dave. And Rhonda, good morning. Okay, thanks for joining me, you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm going to keep my eye on this because I'm not getting the comments in the platform. But I'll make sure I keep my eye on that. So Ronette is also another resident who moved here recently. I know that she did some really good research. I think her and I have talked about like why she chose Nanton. Schooling was a big part of it. There was a day actually she wrote something on one of our Nanton groups and said, I'm considering moving to Nanton. What would you say about it? And we talked about it on Good Morning Nanton Live. And I think we might have bombarded her with a ton of good things to say. And Dave and I as well, we would ask many people like, so do you like it here in Nanton? Is this a good place to live? And everyone would always rave about it. So it is a great place. And just looking at the affordable living social services business resources, last week, a couple weeks ago, Town Council had a resource on called Community Futures Highwood, and they are a great resource for business owners that they have training sessions, they have mentorship programs. If you want to go from being brick and mortar store to having an online presence, they will help you with that, which I think is a huge deal right now. And to just like put your things out there even more and not just in one area. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. So that's a great resource. They have some funding available. If you're turned down from the bank, you can go to them. So they're a fantastic thing for the Foothills region. And also the Chamber of Commerce. The Nanton Chamber of Commerce has worked really hard in continuing to get resources available for businesses. There's insurance programs that you can be a part of with Alberta Chamber Association. There's, the machines that you use if you have a brick and mortar, or you have a business that you need people to pay you, that you have different discounted rates for that. Currently, the Chamber is creating and updating the Nanton map, which I'll show you. I don't know if you can. Whoa. Okay, so this was the Nanton map that was developed a few years ago by the lovely folks at Mosaic. So Barb and her husband Paul, they beautifully designed this Nanton map, and the Chamber is coming back with an updated version. So there's a little bit different things in here, but business owners will have an opportunity to pay to be included on the map. It's a great resource to give this to people and say, here's where you go to visit the Hive, and here's where you go to do this, and this is Integra Tire, and they've got great stuff, and this is GCS, and that's where you take this. So, but the resources available on that end from the Chamber is expanding as well. We're trying to create opportunities, bring in different resources, in order for business owners to not feel like they're alone and not feel like they're kind of a silo in Nanton. So those, is that enough? Do we need more business resources? Do we need to bring in, a more collective team? Is there, there's an economic development committee as part of town council. And, I think I haven't been on the committee, but I'd be really interested to see how the conversation goes about what they're thinking about future plans for economic development, and what that includes. Is that bringing in resources? Is that only about bringing businesses? Is it how do we support businesses? I know somebody last week said she didn't necessarily want more town involvement, and that's a valid point as well. Are we involved in too much red tape? Can we, last year was a big, or maybe 2 years ago, Jennifer Hanley was talking about bringing the farmers market into Nanton. COVID was kind of keeping it at bay. But so she said, how do we get to yes? So a great... I don't know what the word is that's escaping me at the moment, but a great thing that people are talking about is how do we get to yes? So it's not going to be a no, it's just how do we get to yes? And I think that's an incredible approach for town council to have, because I know what I'm doing here. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with the technical, how do I look on things? Okay, I'll go back over right here. Okay. Oh, Carrie's here too. Hi, Carrie. Rhonda said, I was happy to hear about them as they seem to be a great business resource. I had no idea. So you're talking about Community Future Highwood, Rhonda, and I think they are an incredible resource. And they're a nonprofit group. So I think, they welcome everyone to come in and sign up. And I know even for service groups, they're there to help support as well. I know that the Grain Elevators has reached out to them for a few things and some questions. And so, you don't know until you just ask, right? And so Nanton Quality of Life Foundation as well is a social service program. So I think I was talking about the medical center and what they're doing to expand it, what they're doing to add on to it. And so I know that there's some maybe resources that we don't currently have that they're looking to bring in. So I think that's incredible, because they're seeing that Nanton has grown in quite a bit in the last couple of years. And so things change, right? People's needs change. And in a rural community, you kind of feel like sometimes you can be left behind, and that you have to continuously go to the city or go to the other towns to have those resources. But we have so many resources here in Nanton. We've got the hearing clinic. We've got, I think my brother asked me one time, what's something that Nanton is missing? Do you need a dentist? I said, we have a dentist. Oh, do you need a chiropractor? We have 2, maybe 3 chiropractors. We have acupuncturists. We have many massage therapists. Your physical health is really important in Nanton. But what are we missing? Is there, Is there something, I know the Lions can provide some, for people who need temporary, chairlifts, scooters, mobility issue products that we have right here in town that you don't necessarily need to go to the city to go get. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we have here that maybe not everyone knows about every one of them. So I'm just going to look here. I've got one comment on this page. Oops. About every one of them. So. Oops. Okay, just making sure I'm getting all the comments. So Rhonda says, I'd love to find a way to connect more farm to table opportunities. Being able to resource more local ingredients would be awesome. The summer is great, but also during the winter. I think that's awesome. That's a really good point. We do have a lot of resources, and I think it'd be great to bring some of those ranchers and farmers into more of a part of our community. Maybe necessarily they don't want to be tied down to a community, but where can we access I think I hear a lot of people saying, like, where can I get good how-to-write chicken or something like that. Obviously, Brisket Case and the Buzz in Nanton has those types of things. But, maybe I feel like it's a little bit underground of where some certain things are. I know some people, Jennifer Pinch is starting to look at selling her duck eggs. And actually, if you have a look at Jennifer Pinch, she recently, and I don't know if she's on here, it'd be great if she was, but she recently talked about her duck egg business that she's getting started, and the differences between duck egg and chicken egg. And so, the health benefits, the less water in duck egg, so there's less, more condensed, but different things like that we can sort of have a profile page of maybe farm to table where we can get it. And also, we talked about last week of having a community garden and potentially being able to have some of those vegetables sourced and provided for people, so basil is one thing. I think last year in the farmers market, people kept asking, where do I get basil? So maybe vertical gardens is something that people can look at, and being able to sell fresh herbs right here in town. So there are some really, really great ranches. We've got Trails End, we've got Bueller Beef. I know we have a lamb farm close by that I'd love to have on the show and talk to them about what they provide. But also, who else is doing eggs, and who else is, I think, somebody that does milk potentially, sourcing fresh milk, and what, just where those opportunities are. And Rhonda said, yes, keeping them local, more money in our community. Absolutely. And more money, I was thinking about this yesterday because I was sort of helping support a home-based business. And I thought about how much home-based business are also very, very important to our community, because those are potentially, our stay-at-home moms who are helping supplement some income. Maybe there's people who aren't able to go out into the workforce that are using it as a full income. And they're not to be, I know people who have a few different things that they do out of their home. They're involved in this and that, and I think we can't really, we need to put our money into those as well, because those keep the people in our neighborhood thriving, and it keeps money in our community. People don't want to leave if they know that they're being supported. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities, lots of little hidden gems. I think if you were to ask people how many businesses are in Nanton, I feel like last year's business license list was maybe around 130. But if you were, somebody who was coming to Nanton to just see what is here, you basically see the downtown and then the two highway sides that have some bigger businesses, and you don't really think wow, we could have over 130 businesses here, but we do. We have so many, and we have so many local contractors. We have so many great resources here and great entrepreneurs here. So it is an exciting place to be. And people work hard. People work hard here. That's for sure. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So social services, business resources. I know there's some other information, like one of the priorities that people have talked about is the school. I know that the school needs to be, and I think it's JT Foster needs to have some updates. It needs to, have some money put into it. And, I know that there are great resources. There's the Friends of AB Daily, and I know the parents work really hard. And so, but how can we kind of help get that momentum going to help those resources to get that done for the kids? Because then, that brings in more people if they know that the school looks really good. Maybe people aren't going outside of town to send their kids to school. And what are the reasons for that? I know there's many. There's potentially, sports related reasons, maybe, I don't know, but it would be interesting to see again where some of those gaps are now. I know schools can't focus on everything all at the same time. I keep hitting my mic, sorry. But what are the things that Nanton is going to be the best at? So high school that I went to after I was in high school, they decided that they were going to be a theater arts, performing arts school, and they brought in amazing teachers to help elevate that program. So it included, band, performing arts, drama, choir. I think there was some other things involved in that they thought, okay, we're not maybe the best academically, but we're going to be the best when it comes to people sending their kids there because they want them to be, performers, or they have theatrical or musical or whatever. So what is something that Nanton is the best at that we can continue to put our resources in and to elevate that as being what people know us for in terms of, schooling? In the past, it's been the Antique and Art Walk. Nanton was really known for. Bomber Command were really known for. Potentially grain elevators is getting up there. And don't forget to take your selfie tonight with the grain elevators for Valentine's Day. Doesn't have to just be your sweetie, could be your family, could be your best friend, could be whatever it is, and you get a chance to win a great prize package. So I'm just going to put that out there. Let's see. Let's make sure I'm not missing out on anything here. Okay, so we didn't really get too much input on where Nanton lies on the scale compared with other communities in relation to affordable housing. Maybe people feel like it's comfortable here. Maybe there's no complaints in that regard. I saw a great comment the other day. Again, somebody commenting saying they're looking to move to Nanton, but they heard that the taxes are high. And, we've all seen those posts. But what I think was great was I saw somebody make a comparable that I've felt, and Dave and I have talked about, which is our taxes aren't much higher than they were in Calgary. In Calgary, we had a house that was, double the size of our house now, but our lot was definitely like a third of what it is now. So, but also we were getting garbage picked up every 2 weeks. We were, because they were offsetting recycling and garbage, whatever. And I don't think for families that garbage every 2 weeks was at all reasonable, because for a family of two, we were constantly like spilling out at the end of 2 weeks. There is our, streets and sidewalks. I know this hasn't been a very snowy year, but you guys, until you've really lived in the big city and know that they don't even look at the side streets, and your car is doing this as all the ice and snow is making, those grid lines, and you have to sort of, play chicken with the person in oncoming traffic. We're really lucky. I think most streets, maybe not right away because there are priorities, but I think most streets get looked at in terms of snow removal. But you know what? You don't get in big cities that you do get here, which I know doesn't have anything to do with the taxes, is you get people who will come down the street from your neighborhood and help others and clear out. You know how many people here have trucks that can clear a path or that can clear out snow. And that's not something that you get in the city. So there's offsetting things that happen in terms of living in the city and the value that you get there versus living here and the value that you get. Rhonda said, we were attracted back to Nanton for the same reason. Good size house, good size yards. I'm okay with the tax rate due to the size of the property. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that we found the housing more affordable here compared to the East Kootenays. I feel like that might be Chelan. Is that Chelan? I just see Facebook user. I'll just put it up so you know. Facebook user said, we found the housing here more affordable compared to the East Kootenays. So yeah, and that's a different province, and so right, Kootenays, Chelan. I knew it was a Chelan. That's a different province, so that's a whole different ball game sometimes. But I do feel like we get a lot of value for what we're looking at, and our town office works hard. I know some people have different thoughts on that, but they're listening to what the feedback is. I think that in Nanton, you have a voice, and maybe some people feel like they're not being heard. And sometimes it does take a little bit of collective, and unfortunately it takes elections to make people think that this is the only time they can be heard. But you can always reach out. I know that several of the previous council or current council have said that they get stopped in the grocery store, they get asked this, or they might get a call asking about that. But that's part of the position, is being available and being able to let people know that they're being heard. So that's something that I feel like I have a really approachable demeanor. I hope that people will be able to reach out when they're feeling like maybe they're not being heard, or maybe they feel like they can't. Maybe this isn't a problem for the mayor. Maybe this is something that, I don't know who to talk to. If you don't know who to talk to, you reach out to a council person and see what you can find out, or see, just let your problem be heard. So that's kind of all I have to say about that. So there's some really, and there's lots of people who moved here in the last 2 to 3 years, a lot of newbies that maybe don't know as much about Nanton because we've been kind of shut down. And so they're not meeting the people in the neighborhood. Who are the people in your neighborhood? That's the bonus for this morning. You get me singing. And just kind of find out, is this normal? Should I be expecting that? Is this, something I should talk to somebody about? And just see. I know that sometimes it's not easy to reach out when you think that you don't know. You don't know if this is something to expect or not. We had our first year that the weeds in the back alley in the summer, totally off my radar. Totally didn't think about it. And then, Bylaw was doing some rounds, and they just came by and said, hey, you got to look after that. And it was completely, it wasn't somebody putting a notice in the mail or somebody making a complaint. It was, here's a conversation. This is awesome. Yes, we need to get it done. And we took care of it. Right. So I think there's some value in knowing that people have opportunity to speak up in some ways. So I'm going to segue that into an interesting story that somebody did have an opportunity to speak up, and I can appreciate it. This week, you might have known my posters might have changed a little bit. I have 1 or 2 that I need to revise. But if you have a look here, so this is I need to take my banner off. Sorry. So my poster has changed a little bit. I had to remove the Town of Nanton logo from it, and that was a total bad on my part that I wasn't aware. Obviously, town logo, you need to be careful with how you're utilizing it. I was just using it as this is Nanton. We're having a by-election, but there was that was a no-no, so that was a lesson for me, and I've replaced my posters. But in terms of somebody being heard, somebody took down my campaign posters because they were not happy with that. And so, there's some interesting dynamics that go on in an election. We all saw it in the fall, or maybe not everyone. Some people chose not to really pay attention to it, but there's definitely an interesting thing you have to go through when you put yourself out there as a candidate. You have to own up to what you're doing. Definitely, you have to say things that you might feel uncomfortable with. You have to be honest with the fact that I don't know everything. I don't know the whole process of everything. But this is me putting myself out there, trying to learn and trying to do my best and trying to make a positive impact for Nanton. And so when you have people who are tearing stuff down, it doesn't feel great. And but you just kind of have to, turn yourself around and I mean, I put new posters up. Yes, it was my bad. I had some cost related to that, but I think at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but the end of the day is I'm trying to think, there has to be some kindness and some compassion. There has to be approachability. If you're not happy with something that's being done, maybe there's some value in talking to people directly, and not making necessarily people feel like they're they're doing things that impact people in a negative way. And I'm not going to say much more about it. I think that it's important to know that we're all just out here trying to do our best. All the candidates are, hopefully all with the same good intentions. There's some people out there that's not necessarily looking like they are looking, and I'm not speaking candidates, I just say there's some certain people that we've all seen are not necessarily saying things in a positive way that makes us feel good about where we're living. And maybe they're being misunderstood, but maybe they need to know as well that it's not always we catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So yeah, there's a lot of lessons to be learned. So I think that what I appreciate is the support that I have, the group around me that continues to rally me and encourage me. And I think that my biggest question in the last weekend was, what can we do to help? And I would say, talk about it. Talk about me, talk about what you're looking for in a candidate, and vote. February 28th, go out and vote and make your opinion heard, make your voice heard. Choose a candidate that is rallying with the people like you, the like-minded people that you believe are making a difference, and the people, the candidates and who are, supporting the candidates, and whether you fit into those categories. I think it's going to be tough. It's a tough race. There's 6 candidates for one role. So it's going to be even maybe more heavily scrutinized, but I think there are some really, I think bees. Dave said, I think bees, I don't think flies like honey. Why not? It's honey. Yeah, and Rhonda says we are supporting those who want Nanton to grow and succeed. So I think that's important. When you're selecting a candidate, when you're thinking about who you want to be in your corner, think about the like-minded people who are looking at positive impacts, who are, looking at the differences that they can make and bringing people together and rallying the community. And that's what I think the most important thing is. People ask me all the time, why do you want to be a council person for Nanton? And to me, it's just the next step in rallying the community. And so, think about those around you that are potentially not in those same boats, and talk to them and find out what it is. I did some door knocking, and somebody said, well, there's no there's no reason to vote because nobody listens to anything anyway. And I was like, talk to me. Tell me what you want. I'm approachable. So yeah, I think there's always something that we can do, and we do it together. That's the most important thing too. It's not just council alone. It's not just one person who's a candidate. We do it because we have the people around us who support us. So anyway, I've been blabbering. But so I think I'm going to close off with that. I appreciate everyone who came on here. I hope if you're watching at a different time and you want to reach out to me, you've got my information there. Please do call me, text me, email me. Let me know you want to have a coffee and we can sit down. And otherwise, I'll see everyone. Hopefully, I'll be around town. So if you want to say hi, please do give me a wave. I love it. So thanks, everyone. Next week, let's talk municipal services in Nanton, bylaw enforcement, and focus on EMS and rec services. Ooh, hot topic. Okay, join me next week and we'll talk about that some more. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Happy Valentine's. Love you all. Okay, bye.